Okay, so now that we are done with the main part of the garment, we're now going to start working on the border. Where we're going to begin is this neckline piece. So we're going to start on this end, work our way around the garment, ending over here, and then working in rows all across or all around the garment, coming back over here. So I'm going to attach my yarn to the next stitch over here. Okay, so you'll see that the first stitch on the split neckline row is inside of a space stitch. We're going to go right into this stitch over here. So I'm going to insert my yarn, just attach my yarn, secure it with a knot, double knot to be sure, and I'm just going to pull up my yarn. Okay, I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, and move my camera to the side. Okay, there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start working on the side, the inner side of this left panel. Okay, so I've attached my yarn here. I'm going to now look at this side. So I'm going to do a single crochet in each row. So it's pretty easy to figure out where to do it because the stitch pattern for this is 2 of the same color and then a contrasting color. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So here let's just do it together. My yarn is up and ready to go. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to go into the next row. So 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to continue adding single crochets until we reach the corner, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, so now we've reached the corner. We've reached the end of this row, and this is now the corner stitch, and what we're going to do is single crochet into that corner stitch, chain 2, and single crochet again. And this creates a nice rounded corner going directly into the next portion of our garment edge. Now remember that these edges are made by doing a single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. So in our pattern, this whole panel is 90 stitches long. Can't really get it here. So this whole panel is 90 stitches long. So from that one single crochet into the corner stitch all the way until the single crochet into the corner stitch on this edge, that should be 90 stitches. Okay, I am now at the end of this edge, and this is my 89th stitch from the corner. That's where I'm counting 1. The stitch in the corner is our first stitch all the way up to here, and our last stitch, which is number 90, is going to be right here at the very beginning, and I'm going to perform our corner stitch, which is a chain, our single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. And I'm going to move my work again, and we are now working down the long side of the garment. And that is our first stitch in this row. We're going to single crochet into the second or the next row. So that's light, light, dark. We can go back to that pattern right there to help us remember where we are. So light, light, dark, or I was counting earlier, 1, 2, 3. So that's how we're going to work that until the very end of the row. And when we reach the very end of the row, we're going to do another corner stitch just like how we did here. Okay, so I'll see you guys then. Okay, so here I am at the end of that side edge, and we have now made our way to the bottom of the garment. Now this is going to be our, well, not really our longest side, but it is quite long. And so I've got my stitch markers to help me make sure that I am counting correctly. So I'm going to do our corner stitch right into the space of the first row that we did in the pattern. So 1, chain 2. So here's my chain 2. We're working the corner stitch, and so I did my chain 1, I did my single crochet and then chain 2. I'm going to do my single crochet again, but I wanted to show you guys setting up the next row. Because this is a chain row, it is different. So we have, if you look closely, we have little spaces created where we did our single crochets, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. And our first stitch was actually made in the first chain. So that's already 1. So after that, our second stitch is going to be into this space. So let's just complete our corner stitch. So like I said earlier, I have my single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into that same stitch, and then single crochet to that space right next to it. Okay, so I have my first 2 stitches of that row, okay, or of that side. Now my next stitch is going to be here where I have this single crochet attached, and then into the space, into the single crochet, into the space. Now I personally find that these rows are harder to keep track of, and because this side is 210 stitches long, I have my stitch markers right here to help me keep track so I'm not needing to count over and over again. I will see you guys at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm done with 209 stitches in that bottom edge row, and I'm going to do our corner stitch into this last space over here, and this is the space created by our chain 2 in our foundation chain. So let's do our corner stitch with a single crochet, chain 2, and then another single crochet. So by doing that corner stitch, we have rounded the corner. We have 210 stitches along the bottom, and now we're going to start working on this long edge again, which will be really easy for us to keep track of because of the color changes. So that first row is already done with that corner stitch that we made. then our second stitch into that second row, our third stitch right here into that darker brown row, and we'll continue along. 1, 2, and 3 into that secondary color. Again, 1, 2, and 3 into that secondary color. Going to continue working down this edge until we reach this corner. Do another corner stitch, which will then rotate to this edge. Over here, we're going to do another corner stitch, which will have us working down the other side of the neckline from where we started. And here is our neckline portion right here. And so I will see you guys when we reach this stitch again. Okay, so we made it to this first stitch in our neckline split, and I've already done my single crochet into that stitch, and so it's time to attach it to this neckline portion. So what I'm going to do, if you look closely here, this is where let me just zoom in a little. This is where our row began. The next stitch is this single crochet right here. So I'm just going to make a slip stitch into that. Okay, so slip stitch there, and that attaches our row to this neckline over here and evens it out. Now our next row is going to be a double crochet crisscross row. So what I'm going to do now is, let me just zoom out a little. Okay, I'm going to slip stitch into slip stitch up 2 stitches, so that's 1 and 2, and now we are at the height that we need to work our second row. So now that our work is at the right height for our second row, I'm now going to turn our piece over. Now that our work is flipped over, we're going to work on our second row, which goes all the way back to where we came from, but now it's easier because we've set down the foundation for the border in row 1. So we're going to skip that. We're going to double crochet into that next stitch and then double crochet back into that first stitch. There we go. Now we're going to repeat that all the way until the corner. So I'll just show you again. Double crochet and then double crochet here. Skip 1, double crochet, and then double crochet into the skipped stitch. So you can see there's like this nice crisscross double crochet pattern going on, and I will continue that until the very end and meet you guys there. So we've reached the corner, and we're now at our corner stitch, our single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to do a double crochet into that single crochet stitch, and then do a double crochet in that chain 2. We're going to do a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So that brings us around the corner, just like that. So I'm going to do another double crochet, that single crochet from the corner stitch in the row before, and continue with our pattern, our crisscross double crochet pattern down the row. So skip one, double crochet into the next, and then double crochet into that skipped stitch. And I'm going to continue doing that until the end of the row, and then just repeat what I did here in the corner stitch. So we're going to so that is how we round the corners on this second row, and each corner is going to be relatively the same since we finished our foundation row, which was row 1. Everything should be just about the same. So I will meet you guys again when we are about to finish the neckline. Okay, so we made it here to the neckline portion again. I finished off with my last double crochet crisscross stitch, and we're ready to attach to this part of the neckline portion. This is where we connected last time. We're going to count 2 stitches up. So 1, 2, and then slip stitch into that stitch to end the row. Now everything is nice and aligned. We're ready to do row 3. Now for row 3, it's another single crochet row. So nice and easy, we're just going to slip stitch up 1 stitch, and now we can flip our work over and perform single crochets all throughout the edges until we reach corner stitches. Now for corner stitches, we're going to do the same kind of corner stitch that we did in row 1, where, if I can get this to focus, where we single crochet all the way up until here, and in this chain space we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet for a nice rounded edge, and then continue doing that exact thing along the edges and making those corner stitches when you reach corners. Okay, so here we are at the end of the 3rd row, and to secure it to the neckline, we are going to go into the next stitch. So here is that stitch where we attached the top of this row, and now we're going to go into the next one, which would be this one right here. Do a slip stitch. I am going to do 1 single crochet and fasten off. And that's it.